Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Investors are concerned that Tesla's board is missing in action and not pandering to the investor community about what is going on in the company. I'm wondering though, is it any different than before? Or is it just that the stock price is down so much lately, investors are just looking for answers more? Okay, sure, we definitely have Elon somewhat distracted with Twitter right now, and many feel he is taking his eye off the ball being Tesla, or equally perhaps SpaceX. But Twitter is a fairly basic business. It's a website. It's not overly difficult to sort out. Nothing new needs to be invented. Elon just needs to get the mission sorted and place some key people in the right place. And it may also be that there is not much for him to do at Tesla right now anyway. There are some really smart savants working on FSD, 4680s, and new manufacturing techniques that Elon can focus on Twitter a bit. And he's obviously very excited about it. He thinks he's done a great thing for the world, protecting democracy by fighting, or paying for, our freedom of speech. And he feels this is more important than anything in the world right now. Tesla doesn't have a PR department. They could be out trying to reassure investors, telling them how exciting everything is and the future of the business. But perhaps Elon expects us to believe him. It reminds me a little bit of the story of Moses. He performed these miracles for everyone to see and witness with their own eyes. Then the Israelites followed him and believed in his God. They followed him to Mount Sinai, and Moses climbed up the mountain to receive the Ten Commandments. But whilst he was gone, doing this, the Israelites lost their faith in Moses and God, and by the time Moses returned, they were once again worshipping false idols like bulls. They needed the constant reinforcement that God was real. Now, I'm in no way trying to bring religion into this. I stay clear of politics and religion, and merely use this as an apt example, as we've seen Elon perform the closest thing we know to engineering miracles, with what he's done with rockets, electric cars, batteries, manufacturing, neural nets, robotics, and the rest. But apparently that's not enough, and investors are back to worshipping false idols. Only instead of bulls, it's bears. This is kind of what I do. Constant reality checks and reminders to maintain faith in what this company is capable of. We've seen the miracles, it's still early days, and we're just getting started. And usually our faith is strong, as usually the stock price is going north, and reinforces our faith more and more, especially when the economy is looking solid and demand is strong with rising prices, good margins, and long waiting lists. But this is our business. We have a right to know what's going on. Is it? Do we? We own a share of the business, and if the majority of us vote, we can decide on various outcomes of how the business should be run. But make no mistake, this is Elon's baby, and he and his friends run the business. They decide on how much they wish to tell us. Or another way to rephrase that is they decide on how much they wish to pump the stock price. They drop clues for those who believe enough, or for those who bother to do large amounts of in-depth full-time analysis. Tesla could have publicly announced the opening of the new Megapack factory in Lathrop, California. Instead, all we had was a small sentence in Q2 earnings update that said, "We're in the process of ramping up production at our dedicated Megapack factory to address the growing demand." Tesla could have announced they have another 9,000-ton gigapress for the Cybertruck, and that we're seeing what the rear casting will look like and how exciting it's coming on, giving progress updates, to further validate that this product will happen. But instead, we have to find out from secret insider photos. We have no right to know exactly what Tesla and Elon are doing or thinking. We do get our 4 times a year earnings calls, where we get to ask Elon questions, and generally he's very candid in his responses, and will answer them as long as he doesn't give away too much of the secret sauce. Although often the questions could be a lot better. He will also often reply to people on Twitter, no matter how large a following they may have. And investors want to hear about things like a buyback to restore confidence. Well, perhaps Tesla are not ready yet, and may have a good reason. I thought it would be before the epic Q4 deliveries, and would make sense to me. But they know what they're doing, and they've clearly heard how the community feels about it. If you want confidence, then research as much as you can and ignore FUD. Tesla could tell us about their new vehicle, show us more designs, cost of production, features, new manufacturing techniques, or other products in the pipeline. Tesla could tell us what they plan on doing with this massive new supply of cells they're about to receive from CATL, and that their China battery supply will double next year. Or what about this new factory location we were promised to be told? But it's not like they don't tell us any of the good stuff. Elon said that the 4680 cell will get down to $70 a kilowatt hour. That's a huge nugget of information. And there's the thing. It's your choice whether to believe him or not. I mean, what else do you want? He is telling you the important things that matter in the future of this company, like 1,000 gigawatt hour production in the US alone. But I think people struggle to look even a year ahead, as they're suffering now by where the stock price is currently. Or what about the fact Tesla will be worth over $4 trillion? Yet investors want questions on how bad demand is in China. Yet if you do all the numbers, it's not even that big an impact. And these investors aren't even asking the right questions. A better question would be, when will the 4680s be ramped? What else is it that these people expect Elon to tell them? And then they won't believe him anyway. And yes, unfortunately, it has become harder to believe what Elon says when it comes to targets. And he has been wrong a bit lately. 4680 upgrades, new factory ramps, and obviously FSD and robotaxi releases. And semi-truck launch was delayed massively too, but it did happen. However, they are all still in the making. He just got the release dates wrong. Or did he? Are they even release dates? Or are they deadlines for the engineers in order to force them to complete these miracle engineering feats sooner? Perhaps this is Elon learning from Steve Jobs. Perhaps this is Elon learning from Steve Jobs and how he achieved the impossible. People who worked with Steve Jobs called it his reality distortion field, where his charisma would convince engineers the impossible is possible, even though Steve Jobs couldn't even code. Maybe Elon also attempts the RTF strategy too, to get these tasks completed a lot earlier than possible. Oh well, all that, and perhaps they had a few issues to deal with during a pandemic, when supply chains were off the rails, along with inflation, high interest rates, lockdowns, weaponized dollar, wars and things. Yet they're still going to pretty much hit 50% growth this year, despite all that. Yet people still want answers. With a really high chance of achieving 50% growth next year too. This is the growth we were promised. And this is what is being delivered. And it's hardly like Tesla is acting like Theranos in some secret lab no one else can see. Tesla are operating in the largest lab in the world, Giga Texas, and they even let people take drone footage of the lab and view inside the windows. And what do we see inside there? Everything we expect we should. 4680 battery lines up and running, massive 9,000-ton gigapresses getting ready for the Cybertruck. And same for FSD. There isn't just Elon's secret FSD vehicle that can supposedly drive itself and only shows Tesla's self-made footage of the car driving itself. No, it's out and open to the public, and they get to experience the upgrades on a regular basis. Noticeable upgrades, I should add, with fewer and fewer interventions required. Tesla could have announced more publicly when Lathrop Megapack factory opened, and that energy is now going to contribute about 20% of revenue and potentially profits. Perhaps there's a reason they like to operate more under the radar where possible. Elon's disrupting a lot of massive industries, likely making quite a few powerful enemies. Maybe he doesn't want them all to realize just how far Tesla is, or they may do more to make things harder for him than they already have. Or perhaps he doesn't want the competition to know some of his secrets, to make sure Tesla has a more sustainable competitive advantage. Yes, sure, the overall mission is a sustainable future for everyone, but let's face it, we would rather Tesla make as much of that future as possible. Teslas are more efficient for a start. As in, it takes fewer global resources to make a Tesla than it does an electric Ford, especially if they both have the same range. The Ford also consumes more resources when running too. So Teslas are better for the planet than the competition. Not only that, the bandwidth for EVs is limited right now. The supply chains and economies of scale have not opened up enough. Things like lithium are scarce due to minimal refinement. So if Tesla helped Ford grow, there may be less lithium available for Tesla, as an example. And Ford might start buying up more nickel and securing more contracts with nickel mines, meaning there's less nickel for Tesla, and it's now at a higher cost. And remember, a ton of nickel makes more 300-mile range Teslas than it does Fords. We don't know what Tesla's and Elon's motives are for not communicating to us the way many want, and some investors are just 100% Elon. Some have channels even that are just about how much they trust the genius and how he is such a genius. They're great channels for confirmation bias. Perhaps they just get it better than others. They understood the miracles more, they've seen enough and are simply all in with Elon. Whereas I love the business side and am fascinated by seeing the actual underlying genius in action when it comes to the fundamentals, and talking about how impressive they are, especially when compared to the competition. Anyway, I know it sucks being down millions of dollars because Elon is off on his Twitter crusade. Wait, down? No, probably up millions, because Elon worked so hard doing such an outstanding job reshaping the auto industry. But just because we were in a boom and now we're in a slump and Elon is not holding my hand through it, telling me everything will be okay each day, then should I be cross with him or something? What is it that these people really want Elon to tell them? There's no demand issue? He said we were going to have an epic Q4. Sounds like demand should be okay. On top of that, he also just ramped up Shanghai by about 30% more production. He wasn't going around all the start of the year telling us that we hope to improve Shanghai production by 30%. No, we just heard about it out of the blue, and suddenly we realized all factories can be that much more efficient, yet the stock price didn't increase 30%. Should Elon or Tesla be addressing every bit of FUD out there? I don't think so. It gives the FUD a louder voice. Sometimes it's best not to address these matters. At times, Tesla have addressed things like FSD crashes and had to clear up that a car wasn't actually an FSD or various items like that. But if 1 out of 5 production lines is closed down for 1 week, is that really a big concern? I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding too much like an Elon fanboy right now. I'm just trying to think about this outside of the doom and gloom and stock price and work out if I would feel any different if the stock price was close to its high. I know a lot of what is causing this is Twitter, but Tesla is all grown up now. It's an adult. It can take care of itself. And it was only recently Elon did just announce an AI robot too. I mean, isn't that kind of a big deal? Let me know in the comments what it is that you actually want Elon to tell you or you think you deserve. But has anything really changed? Elon still talks about Tesla and FSD updates, along with SpaceX launches. They are just heavily diluted by tweets about Twitter. And I think the fact the stock price has been hurt by Twitter due to selling and other activities, then the actual economy hurting the price more, is just making investors feel uneasy and just asking Elon to help them feel a bit better. But about 3 weeks from now, we should get a reminder of just how well Tesla is still doing with another record deliveries number. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.